2 seconds. When are you going to protect straight men from injustices, sir? When are you going to destruct straight men?
I'm sorry, ma'am, but your time is up. Thank you. Thank you. All right, our last speaker is Mr. Alex Stein.
Okay, cool. How you doing, Judge? My name's Alex Stein. They call me Primetime 99 Alex Stein. And I'm a Blaze TV contributor. And so I'm just, the handout here I have today, I see you got me filming. This is a D Magazine article about Clay Jenkins, and it says, in college at Baylor, Jenkins continued to distinguish himself dubiously. He was arrested twice, once for reckless driving after he led Baylor security and Waco police on a car chase he planned, and a second time for criminal trespassing in a woman's dorm room during a panty raid. Strangely enough, he was never arrested for his role as a famous Baylor pie man, a hitman for a student-organized ring that offered to throw pies in people's faces, professors, ex-boyfriends.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to admonish members of this court.
Yeah, I'm just asking. I would like to get some clarification. On here it says,
but
Judge, what I'm saying, this is talking about a panty raid. I'm not admonishing.
You're not allowed to attack members of this court.
I'm not attacking them.
Yes, you are.
I'm asking a simple question.
What's your question?
I'm asking you,
what is your question?
What was the panty raid about? My question is, he was
okay,
arrested
well,
for a panty raid.
you're attacking
I'm not
members of
allowed to
this
ask about
court.
his
You're
criminal
finished.
record?
You're finished.
I'm not
You're
allowed to
finished.
ask about his
Yeah,
criminal
Marshall,
record?
moving on.
I'm not allowed to ask
You're
about his
out.
criminal
You're
He's
finished.
a panty raider. He's
You're
a
finished.
murderer.
You're finished. Okay. Yeah, anybody? I think he was the last speaker. Let me tell you something. Members of this court, attacking us, that's beyond the pale.
All right, so that concludes our public speakers for today.
Hi, and welcome to Prime Time with Alex Stein. My name is Nathan Beeman, and as you can see, Alex has lost the case of Alexander Stein versus the Dallas County, County of Dallas. Gonna keep your mouth shut, aren't you, Alex?
No, I'm not. I'm sick and tired of this bull crap. And I don't want to cuss because we do have a rabbi on with us. Before I actually get mad, let me welcome, you saw Nathan Beeman, but let me welcome on my two attorneys. I felt like I was in To Kill a Mockingbird, and I had Atticus Finch in the courtroom with me, defending me. And you guys both have your different Atticus Finch traits. So I want to welcome on Eden Quainton and my very good friend and attorney, John Gross. Fellows, welcome to the show. So as the audience just learned from my very good friend, Nathan. What? Oh, shoot. Yeah, sorry. I'm messing with my mic. Sorry. We had a very bad day in court. But for me, even though we took the L, I feel like we took it in style. So I just want to say thank you to you guys, to Eden, to John, because there's not a lot of attorneys that would come out here and represent me, and you guys did, because you guys not only care about the First Amendment, but you guys care about doing the right thing. And that's the difference between you and the prosecuting attorneys that want to limit free speech. You guys actually respect the Constitution. So, Eden, what is your, summary of the past 3 days?
Well, it was exhausting. Actually, I thought we were going to win. I'll be honest with you.
I did too.
And I said we had a zone of positivity. And unfortunately, your dad showed up. And
my dad. Okay, guys, we have to take this is. And my dad, I think he's here somewhere, babe. Will you go find him? Literally, we would win this court case if it wasn't for my dad. And
it's definitely your dad.
It's my dad. He lost us a case.
He pierced the zone of positivity.
Negative vibrational energy.
Everybody had it. I had it. John had it. You had it. Your dad showed up, and it was just like. It pierced it.
The jury felt it.
Well, no, everybody felt it. The universe felt it.
The universe did feel it.
Seriously, there was, something happened and the energy oozed out.
It did. It is my dad's fault. But John, I just want to say thank you, because this has been a 3-year process this whole entire time. And unfortunately, it sucks that this happened, but now we have to appeal it. And now this process is not over. I was hoping and praying for that closure. and that we could just go to sleep as victorious. Not even, and we were only asking for nominal damages, so it's not like we were trying to hit some sort of payday or anything like that. We were just trying to defend the First Amendment, which not only do I find very important, but obviously Eden and John do. So John, this has been a long process. You've had a lot of uphill battles when it comes to your experience in federal court with all the January 6ers you have faced. So what was kind of the difference? Like, how would you, I know this is a civil trial, so it was a little less intense, but how would you describe our case versus the typical January 6th case you handled?
Yeah, I mean, look, January 6th, there was 100% certainty that we would lose every case.
So you knew, I'm just saying, you
There
knew.
was no chance. I mean, we didn't even, I mean, we were there in court just to make the government fight for it and to get stuff onto the record for historical purposes. And, but I mean, when I would go to the jury, I would just say to the jury, like, we know how you're voting. I had a juror in one of my cases who was on a previous January 6th jury.
How is that even possible?
I know. I mean,
Wait, that sat and gave
that
a
actually
verdict?
happened. Yeah, that actually happened. I said to the judge, you can't allow this. And he's like, why not? I don't see why she can't be fair and impartial. She said she can. So those cases were ridiculous. Our judge in this case, conversely, was very fair. Sidney Fitzwater was extremely fair. And I believed that we were going to win. I really did. I thought that, I think at the end of the day, and I said this, I mean, I want to tell the audience this, that when I quit my job to fight this kind of stuff, I did January 6th, and then I made a list of people who were First Amendment warriors. You were at the top of it, and I called you up. It was in like, I want to say 2022. It was, I think in March or April of 2022.
Okay.
And I said, you're going to need a lawyer. And you said, yes, I will.
Yes.
And then that was April. And then you were thrown out in May, like 4 weeks later. And we filed this lawsuit. So that's how we met. And it's really come full circle. It's been 3 years. We've been through a lot together. We have, a lot of stuff going on. And I just, from the very beginning, I think that this was a Rorschach test.
Yeah.
That if we had this in Idaho, I think with a different jury from a different voting bloc, I think that it would have gone in our way. And I think that, certain percentage of the population looks at a video like the one that was at issue here, and they just say, I don't want to live in a country where politicians have this unbridled discretion to throw people out, and then a certain part of the country says, I don't want to live in a country with Alex Stein. So,
That is true, and this is the thing, is Eden, you are a genius. You speak 5 different languages. You're Ivy League educated, and this is the only knock, is that you're a very brilliant person, and every single person on that jury, I don't even think had a high school GED. So do you think that sometimes it hurts you that you're almost too smart when you're dealing with, I guess, people that aren't as educated and smart as you?
Well, thanks. I don't know. I don't think intelligence had anything to do with it, to be honest. I think that
If it did, you would've
politics
won.
had a lot to do
Yeah, if it did, we would have won, though. If they were intelligent, we would have won. Nate has a good point.
I think, look, we had 7 women
Yeah.
and 1 man. There were 6 black women, 1 white woman, and 1 white man. We could have had 7 women that I went to college with at Yale. They would have come out exactly the same way.
So you're saying you lost because you had all those black people stacked against you?
No, women do not. Eden's a very powerful attorney,
You
Nate.
didn't even. See, you're like the fucking jury.
Yeah, Eden, oh my gosh, now we're all going to get canceled. No, but this is the thing with this jury, is if we want to be honest, if I would have walked in there and I was a person of color, we would have won this case slam dunk.
it never would have gone to trial.
It never would have gone to trial. I mean, I'm not trying to be a victim, but it was hard. It's hard for a white male to come across as a victim, even if you see it on camera. You know what I mean? It was hard to sell. We had an uphill battle from the start, even though the evidence was clear on tape.
It wasn't just, candidly, it wasn't just that it was a white male.
A crazy white male?
It was a crazy white male.
Yeah.
I mean, and I think that there was a certain percentage of the population, I agree with John, they just were not going to believe that you have a right to speak. And that's why I took this case on, because I don't care who you are. I mean, I like you.
Yeah.
In fact, I like you a lot. But I don't care who you are. I think you have a right to speak. And I thought that an average person of whatever background would get that. And I guess the cookie didn't crumble that way for us.
You overestimated the population, and that's what I learned through the pandemic, that people are not very smart, including myself. I'm not saying that I'm Albert Einstein. I'm just saying, in general, people don't want to read. People don't want to, I guess, look into things deeply. So I guess when it came to our jury, they didn't respect the First Amendment, or maybe they just didn't like me because I was a crazy white guy. So, John, what's next, though? How do we, what direction do we head next, in your opinion, John?
Well, we'll file a notice of appeal, which just tells the court that we intend to appeal. And then we'll see what grounds we have for appeal. We have to review the record. We have to review a lot of things and figure out what our strategy will be. So we can reserve that right. So we'll do that immediately.
So that'll just give us the ability, once we come up with an argument, to submit that. So, guys, the fight is not over, but man, Eden, after this, I mean, it's just such an I'm an emotional roller coaster. You've been cool like a cucumber. How do you handle this? I mean, I know that this wasn't a criminal case, so it's not, I guess the stakes aren't necessarily as high because nobody's facing jail time, but I felt like I was going to vomit before the jury came out.
Listen, Alex, I thought we had the better case. I thought we had the better legal team. I mean, and I'm not saying that with sort of false modesty or false pride or whatever. I really think we had the better team. But at the end of the day, I think we just could not convince this particular group of people that you had a right to speak.
You're right.
I think they believe, seeing other videos, that you just don't have a right to do the kind of stunts that you do.
I think you're right.
That's what they think.
I think so.
And
Well, what I'm hearing is that you guys lost.
Yes, we lost, Nate.
So obviously, I guess the government's always right? That's the point, right?
The government, well, I just want to say that you started with Atticus Finch. Atticus Finch, if you read To Kill a Mockingbird,
I didn't.
He lost.
You need to read To Kill a Mockingbird.
You need to read a book.
You need to go read To Kill a. Nate's not seen The Big Lebowski. He didn't read To Kill a Mockingbird, which is required reading in every school in the country, I think.
Not anymore, because
Is
it
that
says
true?
the N-word.
Oh, they took it off the required reading list? That was
Half
my
the
favorite.
kids in my middle school said the N-word, and they didn't kick him out.
I know, and that was my favorite paragraph in the whole book. It taught me a lot about, racial sensitivities or racial sensitivities.
But I want to say that, I'm Alex Stein's lawyer, so it's no surprise that I would take a case like this. But Eden is a
Respectable
very accomplished,
man. Yes, a very accomplished, respectable.
Quentin Law, very high-end law firm that typically doesn't do these kinds of things as their bread and butter. But Eden came on with me for a few January 6 cases, and he came on this case. Even though he knew, as I did, that there was a great possibility that not only with this case he could lose, but also that even if we won, there wasn't going to be a lot of money at the end of the rainbow for the two of us. But a lot of people, they wouldn't take this case not only because there wasn't money, but also because they don't want an L on their record.
Yeah.
And I think that's, the real fights are the ones that we fight that we know we're going to lose, but we're going to make the government fight for it.
I agree. And this, I kept saying this, and I think the jury probably thought I was virtue signaling, but guys, free speech is literally under attack. So I didn't go to court with these great attorneys in order to just protect my right to speak. I was trying to protect everybody's right to speak freely. But unfortunately, we learned that in the county commissioner's court that Clay Jenkins, even if he had a past arrest that was 40 years ago, and it is pertinent to a current election that was going on, they can still limit our ability to criticize publicly elected officials. So that's not the world I want to live in. And now that I've been a victim of it, I hope that we can actually spread some awareness. But one big victory for me, this is a personal victory, is now the Dallas Morning News and all these people are now going to look into what was said in that court case. And now Clay Jenkins is going to have some people looking for the skeletons in his closet. And I think there are some skeletons. So, Eden, what do you think about Clay Jenkins and John Wiley Price, not on the witness stand, but what do you think? Do you think that they actually respect the First Amendment?
don't.
I don't either.
I actually don't think they respect the First Amendment. I think it's very result-driven. And again, Wiley Price did not think you had a right to speak. His mind was made up. You came on, and we played this for the jury, over and over again, and they just did not get it. But you came on and you showed an article, and all you said was, I want to know more about what this article is about. And he said, you're done. You're finished. You're finished. He said that you're finished. Marshals, get him out of here. That was it. Now, that was a winnable case. It really was, because that's not, as John said, that's not the country we want to live in. But for a certain segment of the population, Alex Stein, or the Alex Steins of the world, as they, perceive them in a kind of a false perception of reality, don't have the right to speak. And it was right, they think, to silence you.
And I'm going to have to leave in a minute to catch my flight, but I want to say that one of the arguments they kept making was there's a time and place. So he
Yeah.
could go to the park
And
when
yell-
nobody's there
Yeah.
and yell at the trees about Clay Jenkins, but he can't come to the commissioner's court.
That
and
was
do
their
that.
argument, literally. They're like, oh,
And-
Alex Stein in a park can say whatever he wants, but if he wants to talk to the county commissioner, he can't say whatever.
So
You know, I talked about it on Stan. I don't know if this hurt me, but Nate, when they asked me, Eden asked me, he said, what kind of podcast do you have? And I said, my first podcast was called The Conspiracy Castle, and all of a sudden the jury kind of looks at me side-eyed, like, you know, Conspiracy Castle?
Yeah.
And then, you know, like, what kind of conspiracies are you interested in? And first thing, I was like, well, this one might appeal to the African Americans. I was like, I believe Michael Jackson was innocent. He was investigated by the FBI for 19 years. They never found him guilty of anything. So do you think that hurt my case, Nathan, knowing what you know, that I immediately came out the gate defending a...
Pedophile? Just coming out the gate, so sympathizing with a pedophile probably didn't help you, especially against all those black people on your jury, you know?
Yeah, now looking back, you're probably right. And I was like, Michael Jackson's not a pedophile, but they probably think he's a pedophile, right, Eden? They probably thought Michael Jackson is a kid toucher.
Probably, yeah.
Gosh almighty, I should not have defended Michael Jackson, but I still defend Michael Jackson. I will defend. This is the thing. You know what? We might have lost this case. I wish we could have recorded that, because if I could have sent my testimony to the Jackson estate, we probably got a free house, or you know what I mean? They would have let us go into Neverland for
Some
free.
of that old playground equipment they just have sitting around now.
Yeah, come here real quick. You don't have a mic. Hurry, just real quick. Just sit down because you don't have a mic. Okay, Dad, I just want to say, me and Eden have something very important we want to say to you. We were talking before we started the show, and we were coming up, we were hypothesizing why we lost this case, and we figured out it was 100% your negativity, and we didn't lose today. Can you just admit that it is your fault that we lost this case?
I had a lot of negativity. I thought that the odds were against us because of the political makeup of the jury, and the deck was stacked. No, not that. Just
Women, because
just
women.
the deck was stacked against us in Dallas County for two political figures that overwhelmingly won, and they had a lot of voters, and some of those people could have been voters of theirs. It was just a bad deal.
Well, I mean, Alex, remind me your father's name, please.
Rhett.
Rhett, please. It's nice to see you again, Rhett. It's now you may be the reason that you lost the case, right? Your father may have made you lose the case.
He is, and he dropped me as a baby. That's why I have water on my brain, and that's oftentimes why I act out and have behavioral issues. But go ahead.
Alex, both of those things are a fact, but at least your dad is a man who makes things happen.
Yeah, he does. He does make things happen.
Rhett gets things done.
Yeah, he does.
That's what we need in these spaces.
He hustles and grinds. So, Eden, can you tell my dad, as my current attorney, and we might not see each other for a little bit, can you tell him in an official court matter that if he does not calm down, I'm going to sue him? Will you tell him that?
I will, Rhett, I've got to say that I had this zone of positivity that I worked very hard to build up. And I was building that up and carrying that. I think you saw me, in fact.
Absolutely.
3 days. Absolutely. It was unpierceable. It was impregnable, if that's the right word. You couldn't get through it. And you showed up, and there, all these cracks started emerging. Right. It was remarkable. I mean, the prosecutor, the opposing counsel couldn't do it. The judge couldn't do it. Something about Rhett, you pierced it.
Well, sometimes it's hard to face your reality and hear the reality when you're in a zone meditating out, and the facts are the facts. Y'all just had a...
Yeah, but real quick.
I will say this. I've been around courts for 50 years, and this is one of the best attorneys that I've ever seen, without question. And John did a great job, but this man is as good as they get. You could not have a better attorney ever, in my opinion. He's absolutely excellent.
And I mean that. Like I said,
and
the only complaint I have with Eden, this is the only complaint, is that you're too smart. I'm just saying that the jury didn't understand, and I think you dumbed it down. I'm not saying
Alex, I don't think so. I think he did a...
No, I do. I'm just saying he was just so
the
smart.
The jury makeup was just so...
Well, there's one time where he used the word germane, and I know what that means, but do you think the jury knows something that is germane to something? And germane means related to, or it's important to, germane is a word that it describes germane better, but it means something that's very important to something.
Yeah, to the point,
But you were very fortunate, the counsel that you had, John. John's excellent. John, the fighter, he cares about you. He's your friend.
We know that. We know that. You lost us a case. It's not them.
Yeah, but what we're saying...
It's your fault, Dad.
Eden was just too smart for a jury full of women and black people, and...
I don't think he was.
I think he was.
I think he related to him.
I'm going to distance myself completely from this.
No, I know. So you disagree. So
I totally disagree with that, by the way.
Okay, he disagrees.
I
but
think very, very high IQ people could have come out exactly the same way.
that's true.
I think it's highly political.
I don't
really do.
disagree with you.
Definitely highly political.
You know, I went, as you said, I went to Yale, and I can guarantee you that there's 7 women that I would have gone to college with who could have been on that jury. I could have made the exact same arguments to them with the exact same emotional appeal, the exact same intellectual appeal. They would have come out the exact same way because they just don't like Alex Stein. And that's not the way it should be. That's why I took on this case.
And no question, he's the least empathetic person in that
No,
courtroom.
he did a great job. No. He did. No, Rhett, I'm going to disagree with you again. The zone of negativity here. He did a great job. He came on a little bit. Let's say had a hard time reigning.
I was a little hot at the beginning. I came in a little
I
hot.
thought he recovered very well.
He was excellent. I mean, the second half of Alex's testimony was great.
But I think they didn't see the real Alex because they saw those films that didn't really characterize
Well, that's
who
true.
he-
Yeah,
That's
they
it.
did a character assassination. People, if you're watching this,
It was character assassination. And I told the jury, I said, they're going to do character assassination on Alex Stein. Watch out for that. That's exactly what they did. And it was over the line, over the top. At one point, I've never seen this in a court and I've been doing this for 30 years. I've never seen this. The opposing counsel started yelling at Alex. He lost his cool completely. He starts yelling at you, Alex. And I don't know if Alex was hamming it up or not, but it was a moment in the courtroom. And Alex said, I'm having a heart attack.
I'm having a heart issue, which I kind of was.
I had to get up to the judge and say, Judge,
He
it was a panic attack.
a panic attack because I've been around him a long time.
Well, I wanted to yell back. And so I was kind of like, oh.
I wanted to stop the whole thing because that was. So I
5 minutes was the best thing.
So I asked for an adjournment. We got the adjournment, and then you came back, and you were excellent after that. You were excellent.
Yeah, because I had raised all my adrenaline, so I kind of had that, that post-adrenaline rush.
Got under that guy's skin. Something you said, I don't know what it was, but that was not just acting. I mean, he was just triggered by you, and I don't even know what you said.
So, Eden, it was when he said, it's funny because we sued Plano and they actually settled.
Oh,
That's
we
what
settled,
triggered him.
right.
Yeah.
You said we settled, and that threw him over the top.
Yeah, I was adding some stuff. I was just trying to be a little loquacious on the witness stand, but it didn't work. But Eden, you did a great job. I did a great job. Dad, you told me that I was going to be held in contempt and arrested, so it's probably your fault. Will you take the blame?
I'm not going to take the blame.
No, take the blame. I have to take the blame.
I was just glad I was there to support you, and you came out okay. And this is going to be a wonderful learning experience. We're going to look in the front windshield and not the rearview mirror and learn from this. To learn, you have to pick your places and pick your fights. And it's just,
You advocated for cameras in the courtroom, and I think that's another cause I would fight for, because if we had cameras in that courtroom, the kind of attacks that you were facing would not have happened.
Oh, I agree.
That guy would not have felt emboldened to jump down your throat like that and humiliate you in front of the jury. I mean, I thought that was going to backfire. I thought in any other context.
No, they believed him, and he humiliated me. He said that Alex Stein is famous on social media, and then he goes into social media. Isn't social media so toxic? And then he basically insinuated that, isn't it so terrible that people like Mr. Stein can use social media to
Wipe that smirk off your face.
Yeah, he goes, wipe that smirk off your face. And I would have thought that some of those women on their on the damn jury would have liked social media. I know they all had social media accounts, so when he started bashing the fact that I'm well known on social media, I thought that would help us, but it did not. So, Nate, you, as the resident child on the show, what do you think about us older people kind of yelling at each other? What is your impression of what happened today?
I mean, I love yelling. I think my personal journey with it is the moment I open my mouth or raise my voice, I know that I've lost. But for you guys, I know you lost, and that's okay. You know
It's
what
not
I mean?
okay. It's not okay.
It's okay. Again, like what your dad said, he said you're going to look in the front window and not look back. I have a question for you, Eden. I keep hearing that Ray's. We've established that Ray's negative, but what I keep hearing.
Right. No, it's fine. Rhett. No, it's okay. Don't cuss. Don't cuss. Well, we can cuss. I don't care. But yes, Rhett. You can call him.
I get mad when I don't remember people I like's names. I'm very
Just call
sorry.
him. Just call him Papa Stein. Call him, whatever. Papa
Stein.
Whatever.
You
whatever.
established his negative, but what I'm hearing is that you allowed him to permeate your positive bubble. So why did respectfully, you're a very smart man, very educated lawyer, but why did you do that?
That is a weakness. You're absolutely right. I let him get into my zone of positivity, and maybe there was some doubt underlying my own zone of positivity that I hadn't been aware of before that. He exposed my own weakness.
He did.
That was
But Eden, he did expose your weakness
Ah.
because you were able to tell me when you were, because there was multiple times where Eden was preparing for this case and he said, basically, Alex, get out of here. Shut up, Alex. You know, he didn't say shut up, Alex, but he basically, Alex, leave me alone right now. There was a few times where he did it. And what did I do? I left you alone. I didn't bug you. And you did not have the ability, I think, to tell my dad to leave you alone.
I
He did tell me.
He did?
Yeah, I gave him some space. And then we had some great talks, and I gave him some space. He was very much of a gentleman. He was extra.
You did that once, yeah.
He was very much of a gentleman.
Oh, and then guess what? We also found out that through eminent domain, they're also going to take the house that I grew up in my whole entire life. So today's been a great day. We're going to lose my childhood home, and I lost my federal lawsuit. But
Alex, I have a
What?
quick question for you.
What?
Well, they talked about the Michael Jackson thing. Do you think you should have quoted Aretha Franklin like the?
I know
the
who's
lawyer?
zooming who. What song is that?
So the defense lawyer said, as Aretha Franklin said, "Who's zooming who?"
He said that, and then he did, and not only that, he said on the closing argument, he said "baby back biatch" 10 different times, like quoting me. I don't know. I feel like bitch. The word bitch. I know it's not a very good sounding word, but it's the same word for a female dog. Like you should be able to say, if you can say bitch on TV, why can't you say it in a city council meeting? What do you think, Dan?
I don't find that to be a derogatory word. Like I say, dogs are called that, but public it's whatever the public is, general public. Just he used that word civility a lot, and I think people thought that those settings should be a little bit more not so rambunctious and not so. It went to the civility word.
Yeah, that's because those people are not. Those people.
Brett, I think that was a smokescreen. I don't think it had anything to do with civility. I think
But he used that word.
he used that word a lot, but I think really what it was, they didn't like his position on transgenderism, and they didn't like his position on the vaccine. They thought basically things that we might find funny, the vaccine wrapping situation, they found that to be offensive because they don't, there are people on the vaccine, we all lived through this, you would live through this, right?
Yeah.
People who didn't want to take the vaccine were ostracized, they were ridiculed, they weren't accepted into polite society or any society. And you had a group of people who probably all were heavily pro-vax.
Yeah.
You were there. And that
You know what I was thinking
that
now?
was such a triggering issue for people. I tried to screen them out. You saw that in voir
Yes, you
dire.
did. You did go through that. But now looking back, one of the jurors that had kind of a mean scowl on her face the whole time, the one that was on the far left, they might have been trans. Did you notice that?
I didn't consider that.
I'm now looking back, I'm thinking like, we need to look at what their first name was because I think there might have been a trans.
Well, I will give you this. When I saw the names, I thought it was 8 women. And it turned out that there was the one man.
Farland, I remember his name.
He had-
Farland, if you're watching this, you did me dirty, Farland. I thought you'd have my back.
Farland, that sounded like a woman's name to me, but what do I know?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell. I'm
Irish.
just. Is that Irish?
Farland? I don't know. It just sounds like a name I've never heard before.
Well, I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight. I don't know.
I'll be honest. The reason I took this case is I feel passionate about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it has all the negatives, right? High chance of losing.
High profile too, so you're going to be in the media.
So, but with someone who's frankly toxic, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
So, high chance of losing, no money, toxic
Not
client.
very much. I mean, none now. I mean,
Right.
gosh.
So there were like 3 strikes against me, and the reason I took it, I'll be honest with you, you saw me up there, and I believe in this.
You do believe in it.
And like I said, we may lose this one. Maybe we start out with an 0-1 record on this free speech stuff, but keep on fighting. We'll turn it around.
We do need to keep on fighting. I think that's the most important thing. And, Emmanuel, who was on the show last night, made such a good point. He said, a lot of people have tried to go against Clay Jenkins and John Wiley Price, but they don't have the attorneys to help them take it to the finish line. But I have 2 of the greatest attorneys in the United States of America that actually wanted to defend the right to speak freely and that are doing this, like he just said, they're doing this because they're passionate about this. Now, I could just say for myself, it's something I'm passionate about, but this is what the sad reality is. Eden, do you even think the majority of the population, at least Americans, do they even give a damn about the First Amendment?
Not the majority. I mean, I think my assumption is that most Americans, as like part of our DNA, we have this idea that you have a right to speak your mind. And yes, there may be rules in certain contexts, but you don't have, the government can't just shut you down. So it was kind of a sad day for me that we lost the case, because I do still believe most people have that. I'm not sure what tilted the scales here. Maybe it was just politics, but
That trans juror for sure.
The trans juror.
the trans juror might not have been a good thing. But I'll be honest. I think most people do kind of get the First Amendment at a gut level, but that's just me. I'm an idealist.
And so, Eden, what do you think the solution is for this? Like, no more trans people on juries, or
Yes, honestly, yeah. I mean,
not supposed to use any trans people on jury? They like crime. They like legal shows too. I've seen them watch Suits.
that's true. But I'm pro transgenders in the military because they're really good at shooting in crowds. So I think that they would be really good if they were in the military. I'll tell you this much: we live in a society where there are rules, and I get that. But at the same time, if we were on trial, Eden, and they said that women couldn't speak at a city council meeting, if there was a rule that women couldn't speak,
Right.
we had the same case, they would understand that that's not a law that women can't speak, and we probably would have won. Do you think?
I do. I think that's an easier case. I think yours was a tough case because of that. I think it was winnable. And I hope we fight another case like this.
I do
another
too.
forum, because I think we're going to win these cases. And once you win one of these, it'll start to turn it around.
But yes, guys, the First Amendment is for us to be able to criticize elected officials. Doesn't matter if you're liberal, doesn't matter if you're conservative, doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, doesn't matter if you're a Republican. So you're right. They tried to do the old rules for thee, but not for me when it comes to the county judge and the county commissioner. And they get to set their own rules and not follow the Constitution. And we learned that today. So not only am I under attack, but so are you, and so is your ability to speak freely in the county of Dallas. So be very careful, but I encourage you guys to fight, because that's what I did, that's what Eden did, that's what Nathan has to do every day because he has type 2 diabetes, so he has to fight his insulin resistance issues, but he's losing weight, and we're going to help him with that because we're going to give him medicated cocaine, so you're going to get really thin very soon. Clay Jenkins! You're a pervert! You stole those ladies' panties! And you're a stupid jerk! You ruined my life! I introduced you to my boyfriend and my wife! Or my wife's boyfriend, you know what I mean? I can't even freestyle! They took away my ability to speak freely! And they're gonna take away yours next! So be careful. I love you guys. You might not see me. This might be our last show after what happened today. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to recover. So you got what you wanted, Clay Jenkins. You won. But guess what? I'm going to be at Commissioner's Court very soon. And you know what? The information that I bring to your court is going to rock your world. Peace. Good night.